What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Lex Alexas. Today it is the second episode of the Championship Transfer Show. We briefly covered some rumours that were going around the Championship, but now we've got some confirmed deals and we've got some rumours going on as well. The transfer window has officially begun and we'll be seeing these transfer shows occur on a weekly basis for your entertainment purposes only. I hope you guys enjoyed them. If you guys like what you see, please do give a video a like. It does tremendously help the channel. Please do hit the red subscribe button if you've not done so. It does really help the channel. We're trying to push to 1,000 subscribers as soon as we can, and please do share the channel if you can to as many people as you can that might like my stuff. That's how we're going to grow together as a community. But without any further ado, let's start going through these transfers. So the first transfer that occurred was Dejan Stojanovic. He has left Middlesbrough to join Ingolstadt in Germany. That doesn't surprise me, to be honest. When he did join Middlesbrough originally, I knew he had some potential about him, but this season he's barely featured even on the bench, let alone, even starting for Middlesbrough. Since Lumley and Luke Daniels have come in, so Stojanovic has just been pushed to third choice goalkeeper. So that move for me does make sense on his part. Morgan Whittaker has left Swansea to go to Lincoln City on loan. That's an interesting signing to me because Whittaker was crucial at some stage of last season when Swansea did have a couple of injured players in their striker positions, and Whittaker did have to feature a couple of times. Obviously he's not really featured this season, so I think a move down to Lincoln is a good move for him, and I think Lincoln can definitely benefit there. They're currently fighting in a relegation battle this season. They've had a lot of things not go their way this season, but maybe someone like Whittaker can definitely help Lincoln recover. Keenan Davis has left Aston Villa to join Nottingham Forest on a loan deal. Now, he's spent over 4 years with Aston Villa, and he's actually managed to score a couple of goals this season in the Premier League, but he's only featured twice this season. And since Aston Villa got promoted, Davis has just nowhere near have been getting the amount of minutes that he has been getting in this Villa squad. So I think a move back down to the Championship is the right move for him, and it'll be interesting to see how the striker competitions now compete with the likes of Graben and of course Lyle Taylor. So that's 3 competent Championship strikers Nottingham Forest have, which I think is a really good approach for Nottingham Forest to have in this part of the season. Daryl Dike has left Orlando to join West Brom. Now obviously Ishmael worked with Dike last time, but it was on a loan deal. This time, he has bought him permanently with a fee believed to be 7.7 million, which if that's the case, that is a bargain. He's so young still at 21 years of age. He had a brilliant season with Barnsley last season. So if you're going to have those amount of years left in him and he's already proven it, then I think that's a fantastic deal. Aaron Connolly has left Brighton to join Middlesbrough on a loan deal. That is a very interesting signing for Middlesbrough. I'm really interested about the teams just outside the top 6 because they are the teams for me can make a difference in terms of getting into the top 6 place based on their January transfer signings. Forest and Middlesbrough especially, I think, are going to be the 2 teams I'm going to keep my eyes on. And the fact that both have started their transfer business early, they're both key to get into the top 6. And I think it's going to be a real dogfight to get into this position. And I think Connolly will be a good signing for that. Ryan Giles has been recalled to Wolves, which I think is a bit of a blow because Ryan Giles did have a load of assists. I think he was actually the 2nd assist maker of this season before he got recalled in the end. And without him, I think Cardiff can definitely struggle to create as much as they have done. They have tried because Ryan Giles has been injured for quite a substantial part of the season, which understandably Cardiff did struggle in that period of time. But they're going to just have to try and find something that they can do to recover. However, they could potentially use Ryan Wintle because they've now recalled him from Blackpool, where Wintle was starting to settle a bit in Blackpool. He started getting more minutes. He started to make a real impact, seen for Ryan Wintle that I saw in Crewe Alexandra. Now, I think this is a blow for Blackpool. Obviously, at the moment, they've just given a player back to a relegation rival who are chasing Blackpool as it stands. This deal could hurt Blackpool long term, but I think it's a good deal for Cardiff if they can try and find a way to fit him in. Christy Pym has left Peterborough to join Stevenage on a loan. Now, this is an interesting signing for the reason being is that I remember Pym being the goalkeeper that Darren Ferguson was relying on, at least at the start of the season. But unfortunately recently I think there's been a falling out between Ferguson and Pim, which has resulted him going to a loan, and not even a League One loan, going down to League Two, helping a Stevenage side that are near the bottom of League Two. I mean, do you question the man management there at Peterborough? I mean, at the moment with Peterborough, I am hearing that they want to make some signings, but at the moment Peterborough are in a team that are not in a great position in the Championship, of course, in the bottom three, which is what you would expect with Peterborough, unfortunately. And I think this January transfer window is crucial for Peterborough because it can be the difference of survival or relegation. Teden Mengi has joined Birmingham on a loan deal from Manchester United. I think that's a good signing. Following that Dean Sanderson has been recalled to Wolverhampton Wanderers, I think Mengi's a good replacement, and I think Birmingham have used the loan market very, very well there. When I saw him at Derby, he did have some good moments there. I think he does have that bit of defensive naivety still, but I think every game he plays, he improves his defensive game, which I think will definitely be crucial for Birmingham. I think their squad in general, I think Mengi can be a good fit. I've already talked about Dean Sanderson, but he has been recalled by Wolves. The final confirmed transfer involving yet another centre-back is Steve Cook. 10 years of service at Bournemouth, he has left to join Nottingham Forest on an undisclosed fee. I mean, Bournemouth fans will be really sad to see him go. He's led them from League One to the Championship, to the Premier League 2. And he's been their captain throughout all this time as well. It's going to be a hard one, although Steve Cook did have a very long injury, and I think in terms of fitness he's just been really struggling to try and build himself back up. But I do think another Championship club who still have to chase up a little bit, I think he could definitely find more competition there. His experience I think will also be very useful as well, and the leadership, which has been something I've criticised Forest for very recent years. If Steve Cook has an ounce of the leadership he had with Bournemouth added into that Nottingham Forest squad, he could be the difference maker of Nottingham Forest having a really, really good potential season. So I'm really excited by this transfer, and I think Nottingham Forest fans understandably are quite excited by this signing despite his age. So those are all the confirmed transfers so far. If I've missed any out, please do let me know in the comments down below and I'll discuss them in my next week's show. But without any further ado, let's go on to the recent transfer news stories and rumours. So the biggest news story coming in from today is with Bournemouth. Now, it sounds like that they're going to sign Fleetwood Town's defender James Hill on a 7-figure fee, which would actually be Fleetwood's record transfer ever. What an amazing deal this will be for them to rise from what they were in non-league to this level in League One, and to have one of their players leaving on a £1 million fee is quite amazing, to be honest. You know, this will be more money spent on Jamie Vardy when he left Fleetwood Town. So James Hill is an English defender, 19 years of age, great promising potential. 1.6 million is the rumoured fee, and it sounds like Bournemouth will intentionally try and use him to replace Steve Cook as a long-term option. Whether he'll fit straight away, I'm not too sure. I think the competition is very, very tough for that centre-back position this year. You know, with the likes of getting Gary Cahill in, for instance, I think it's going to be a very tough competition. But I think for a long-term option, I think James Hill will be a great signing for Bournemouth if he does put pen to paper. And I think at the moment, it is looking very likely he will sign. So maybe later today, maybe in a couple of days, we could see James Hill as a Bournemouth player. A player high in demand is Matt O'Riley, which is without a doubt, he's been one of the top League One central midfielders this season with 12 goal contributions, 6 goals and 6 assists. Swansea at the moment look the more likely team to sign Matt O'Riley from MK Dons. Now Rangers, Barnsley, Middlesbrough, Huddersfield and Bournemouth have both expressed an interest in this guy. It really just doesn't surprise me though. But I will be very careful and wary of Liam Manning's MK Dons side. Matt O'Riley can have a good choice. He can either jump early and can potentially get a fee so MK Dons can benefit, or he can run his contract down and potentially join on a cheaper price, which would be more likely going to happen for him, you know, if he does have desire to move up a level. But it's really down to MK Dons. They really need to try and really go for a League One this season. I think they're just outside of the top 6 as it stands, but they definitely have the potential there. The manager, I think, is good enough. I think their squad's good enough to go up. They just need this consistency, and they need Matt O'Riley to chip in for goal contributions he's had in his appearances. Sheffield Wednesday in League One have been linked with Peterborough's defender Mark Beavers. Now, this is an interesting story, and I've also just mentioned about Christy Pym and the lack of man management, but this, what I've heard, if it's true, is a real good example of lack of man management. So Beavers, I've noticed, was very frequent in the starting 11 for Peterborough in the beginning part of the season. I think he had a slight injury, but his last appearance was when Blackburn beated Peterborough by 4-0. Since then, he's got nowhere near the squad. Obviously, now the most common centre-back pairing for Peterborough is Nathan Thompson and Frankie Kent. Now, he has actually lost the captaincy as well to summer signing Oliver Norburn, who has been a great player. But to lose the captaincy and to lose your place entirely, I think is a bit disrespectful, I won't lie. Now, Sheffield Wednesday are linked with him because they do want a centre-back. They've had injuries to Shay Dunkley, Lewis Gibson, Dominic Iorfa. So it does make sense why they're linked with him. And I actually think Beavers, despite him being a little bit older, I think he has got experience, and he was in Peterborough's backline when he got Peterborough promoted from League One. So definitely it will be a good signing for Sheffield Wednesday if they can pull it off. Lee Buchanan is a player that we always talk about who's linked in these transfer shows, and it doesn't stop there. So we've got some new clubs interested. Cercle Brugge, Watford are two new clubs who are interested in Lee Buchanan, but the predominant club that's been interested for a long time has been Nottingham Forest. They want a new left back, which is very, very obvious. They want someone definitely to push Guyton Bong down the ranks a little bit. Now, the problem with Lee Buchanan is I think fitness might be a problem with him. He has missed a couple of games due to his knee injury. He's not featured since their 3-2 win over Bournemouth. But having said that, I think Lee Buchanan is a very promising player. He's one of the younger players with a lot of potential. And I think a move up to a championship club like Forest, I think, will be a good sign for him, even though he probably won't be popular in the East Midlands. A bit of interesting news which I saw today. Swansea are interested for a permanent transfer of Jake Clark-Salter. Now, Jake Clark-Salter, I have a real lot of sympathy for. He's been in Chelsea for so many years, but throughout his career, he's just been distributed out on loan. He's been to Holland, he's been to many championship clubs, including Birmingham 2 seasons ago, and this season he's been at Coventry. However, he's only made 13 appearances with Coventry, but a big reason for his absence was having an injury. So I am a bit sympathetic with Clark-Salter's situation, to be honest with you. And I think fitness has been the biggest factor why he's been out of Chelsea's squad, but also a lot of the loan squads as well. I just want him to be at a club where they'll accept him and they'll just constantly play him and he can improve. And I think a permanent transfer will just put him out of his misery of him literally just going back and forth from clubs. So Swansea, I think, will be a good signing. I think with how Russell Martin plays football, I think he can play out from the back. So I think it will be a good fit if Swansea can get him in. Blackburn Rovers are linking Oliver Burke with a reunion to Blackburn Rovers from Sheffield United. I mean, Oliver Burke to Sheffield United just did not work, didn't it? You know, even in the Championship this season, he's just not been chipping in the goals or the assists. He's been not starting for quite a fair few games now. Consistent starting 11 players, you know, we're seeing the likes of Ndiaye, McGoldrick, and even Brewster start more times than Oliver Burke at the moment. And I think a move back to Rovers, I think will be a good nostalgic signing, but I think will definitely help him going forward as well, because I think the competition there is not quite as heated as it is with Sheffield United. A jaw-dropping rumour which I saw was linking Brian Reynolds to the Championship. So he's from USA and he's played a couple of games in MLS, but recently he's moved to Roma playing under Jose Mourinho. He's been linked to Hull City, which I think is very interesting. He's played a couple of games, Reynolds, in the Europa Conference League this year. And I think a move for Hull will be some crucial international experience for this Hull City side. And once again, a young, promising player and defender. And I think what Hull need is experience in that back line. They do have a lot of younger players that I just don't think are quite developed yet. I think Brian Reynolds, whilst he can fall in that category with his age, I think with his know-how and the experience that he's had, I think he'll definitely influence a lot of that back line, you know, some maturity to their play, and I think it'll be a good signing. Lewis O'Brien is undoubtedly going to be linked throughout the whole transfer window. Now, apparently Huddersfield have not received a bid yet, but Leeds and Newcastle are the two clubs eyeing him up a little bit. Now, in terms of money, Newcastle would definitely overtake Leeds in that. Newcastle have already made a transfer of Kieran Trippier, it's pretty much confirmed now. Leeds have also made a recent signing of them getting the striker in Fernandes from Espanyol. So both teams are really keen to strengthen their ranks, you know, both down there in the lower part of the table, obviously. But it depends where Lewis O'Brien wants to relocate. Does he want to move up to Tyneside? Does he want to stay in Yorkshire and just move across to go to Leeds? It's really down to him. Or would he set down his contract entirely with Huddersfield and then maybe think of a move? You know, it's going to be an interesting decision, but I definitely want to see Lewis O'Brien in the Premier League. I think he'll be a breath of fresh air in the Premier League. Another link to a Bournemouth defender includes Lloyd Kelly. Apparently West Ham are interested of signing Lloyd Kelly. And it's interesting because I didn't even realise how many injured players they've got. I knew Kazuma was injured, but also Ogbonna and Cresswell have got long-term injuries. So their centre-back and left-back positions doesn't really have a lot of depth. And I think Lloyd Kelly, with the age that he's had and the value that he's got so far, I think it will be a smart move for West Ham to get him in. He has played in the Premier League with Bournemouth before, so he can definitely have a really good amount of experience there. In 20 outings for Bournemouth, he has averaged 1 interception and 4.9 clearances per game, which is quite good for a fullback. And what I'm really impressed is 3.1 aerial duels per match, 74 passes per game as well, and an impressive completion rate of 83.8%. So I think he'll definitely be a good signing for West Ham if they could definitely tempt him for a move there, because I definitely think he would want to stay at Bournemouth at the moment based on how well they're doing this season. Couple more rumours to talk about. Birmingham are linking a move to Taylor Richards. Now this one I think likewise with Hill for Bournemouth I think will be announced a little bit later. Now Taylor Richards was at loan for Doncaster last season and he managed to score 11 goals and 5 assists in 48 appearances. So his fitness in that season was right up there. Now with Brighton he's only featured a handful of times and he's just not really been able to get the goal contributions that he's been getting at League One level. I think a move down to the Championship I think will help him. Birmingham I think will be a good signing for him as well. Birmingham are a team aspiring to really improve and have a good second half of the season. I think Taylor Richards will be a big reliable signing for that. So we'll see if he goes back down to the Championship, which I think he might do, and I think it'll be a really good signing now. I'm really excited to see how he goes on in Championship if he does sign for Birmingham. And finally, there's a lot of Plymouth players linked with Preston following that Ryan Lowe has jumped from Plymouth to Preston. Ryan Hardy's been linked, potentially Jeff Cott I think has been linked as well. Broom has been interested with a couple of Championship clubs, including Preston, of course. So whichever Plymouth player may or may not sign for Preston, it's interesting to see those rumours fly about because Plymouth are in a peculiar position. They had a really good start, but now they're occupying the last place in the top 6 places. If they want to stay in that top 6, they cannot afford to let any of their star players go. So it's just going to be a very interesting window for Plymouth and Preston. But that wraps it up for today's video. So that is the transfer show done. If I've missed any rumours, let me know in the comments down below. And if I missed any signings out, do let me know as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video today. If you enjoyed it, please give the video a like. It does tremendously help the channel. If you've not hit that red subscribe button, please do so. It does tremendously help the channel. We're trying to push to 1,000 subscribers. And please share this channel to as many people as you can. All of that would be tremendously appreciated. But that'll wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw me in this video. And as always, I'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care, everyone.